Hi, welcome to the HC Production Podcast. This is your host, Mason Henry and Jax Colson.
What's up?
And here's our guest, Nick Alford.
Hello.
In this podcast, we will be talking about the behind-the-scenes moment of Robert Murmuration and our upcoming films. First, let's get started off by talking about Robert Murmuration. So over the summer, we started working on the film Robert Murmuration, and it was going all well at first, and then over time, it all went downhill. We started having problems with our actors getting there on certain days. We had trouble getting
With the
locations, weather.
Yeah. We had a lot of issues revolving. Definitely, I think the people. We all had the drive, as in the three of us here. We mostly had the drive to, keep it going. But unfortunately, with the actors, a lot of the people really just didn't want to or found it kind of silly, which is understandable. But whenever we did have people, sometimes they just want to try it all either. And so we just decided to take a break from everything at the very beginning of summer. And we came back after like 2 weeks, more focused, ready to go. And yeah, we filmed our first scene and it went actually very well. But then it slowly started becoming worse and worse.
The release date was supposed to be November 27th, I think. And it has been pushed back and we do not know the date. But we did release one trailer to the movie. For now, it's all right of a trailer.
And the trailer isn't really much of a trailer. Most of it's kind of just like filler stuff we decided to put in because the movie's not even really too close to being finished.
It's about halfway done. We have the last 15 minutes and a little bit of the beginning.
It's also another thing where we do have a poster slowly on the way. We just need to get more shots of the rest of the actors, but so far we're doing pretty good.
It's very hard to get everyone together because like nobody wants to show up. Like we're the only the three of us are the only people that really care. No one else does. Like people will literally say that they'll be there, and like 5 minutes when we're all together, they'll say, "No, I'm not going because I don't want to." So making posters and filming with everyone there is literally like almost impossible because people just don't care.
We've had to swap characters over like 15 different times.
For the bat, yeah.
Yeah, and for the Crow and Paul and Ricky now. We have mixed all the characters up.
But we are still decently hopeful for the film, We do still want to try with it. And no matter the people, that might be pulling us back a little bit with that and actors and that kind of issue, but we still really want to push for it and really get it out there.
I'm hoping it gets done and finished before New Year's, but I doubt that it is.
Yeah, it's just really hard. But there are some really good things that we have done. Like some of my personal favorite things that we've done are the fight scenes. I really enjoy the fight scenes. I believe that they are pretty well choreographed, even though they were kind of like due at the spot. But I do believe that we did do really good on the fights. So
we do also have some like half decent, I guess, makeup. It's better than just nothing.
Pretty graphic deaths, kind of.
We do have some very graphic deaths, but a lot of them we do have some really good fight scenes. That is something I really do love. Is just how well we did them. Because, like Jack said, we literally didn't plan it at all. It was just, get there, go for it.
All right, so let's change topics and get away from all of that. Let's tell the people what the movie's actually about. Jax, you want to start us off?
Sure. So, it is a sequel to the movie that we've already made, short film that we've already made called Robert's Revenge. It's essentially just a living joke. We kind of just made them up and then led on from there.
We're too far now.
Yeah, we're too far gone, so we're just continuing it.
So we actually decided to, try to make it into something more like how it was, because the original film obviously wasn't the greatest. One, that was our first ever short film. Two, of course, it was mostly a joke. It was completely a jokative kind of film.
This one, the second one, is definitely better.
Yeah, we've we've gone a little bit more off of the it's a joke. We're actually starting to make it more serious. We actually have a killer of a villain. He's a maniac. Um,
And we're actually starting to build like character instead of just throwing random people into it. We're starting to give people their own personalities, and I think we've also improved in our camera work, our editing skills.
Each character in this film has their own moment in the story.
yeah, we made sure that not a single character is left out. We actually found that to be pretty important to us, that we don't just have a side, like, spin-off character that just gets murdered immediately. We want them to have their own moments. They're important to the story.
And like somewhat of a backstory too. We want them to be, somewhat kind of attached. We want people to be able to attach to like said good people or said bad people and understand like why or how they're doing this.
So pretty much in this story, if you remember what happened in the end credits of Robert's Revenge, is Donald, which is the brother of Chad, which Robert killed, is out to get revenge for killing Chad on Robert. And so at the beginning of this film, we have Donald hunt down Robert and kind of like fight him, but not really because he's kind of disabled.
And he can't really necessarily fight him, so he gets others to try to do his bidding. And that fails ultimately, so he reverts back to different tactics in order to kill Robert.
He gathers a group of birds, and a group of birds is called the Murmuration, and that's where we got the name from. And so that group of birds goes to fight Robert, but
Robert,
it doesn't
of
go
course,
so
finds a friend.
well,
And Robert, of course, also finds a friend.
like always.
And also, has a friend on the inside as well.
And he gets the job done, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're going to start talking about the characters and a little bit of their backstory. Jax, you want to talk about Robert's first?
Yeah. So, his mother died at birth, and his father was killed because he was hunted by a hunter, making him become an orphan, and he had to raise and fend for himself. But his friends, except for one, they just bullied him and mistreated him, causing anger to build up and build up and build up until he's had enough, and so he wanted revenge, which led to Robert's Revenge. But anyways, let's talk about the main villain of the story, the Crow.
All right, so basically the Crow is mentally insane, and an accident happened in high school where he cracked his skull open and he got taken to the hospital, and they popped him full of drugs that he was allergic to. So he started acting differently with it in his head, and his emotions started going all over the place. It was like two people were living in his head. And after he graduated, he got sent to a mental institution, which he broke out of, saw his girlfriend, and then a few nights later she died because they got their house broken into. And that just set him off, and now he's just a cold heart murderer. So now let's talk about the Croc.
My character, the Croc, is basically someone who is just a bounty hunter looking to make some quick cash, killing somebody. And when he finds Robert's wanted poster, he finds that it's a really huge reward. And he's very curious as to why this reward is so big. So basically, he tracks him down and he interrogates him. But a little bit of the Croc's backstory is, to begin with, his father was basically the only parental figure, there. And after his father passed away, he was sent to go live with his grandparents, who horribly mistreated him. And so he basically left home and searched to become a bounty hunter, to find Robert and basically become his friend after that interrogation scene.
All right, so now we're going to start talking about the alternate endings to Robert Murmuration that we wanted to have. Jax, you want to start?
So an idea that I came up with like early on, like beta stage essentially, is we wanted to have like a multiverse, a Robert multiverse, where it's like a bunch of different versions of Robert, comes out and helps defeat the big bad Crow. But essentially, we just like weren't really good enough to do that. It'd be really hard and expensive if we wanted to just have it like be a bunch of other random people in bear suits.
And we had not enough actors for that anyways, and we have no actors for this film. So then we thought of another idea, which was like the Croc, which he was going to be like towards the end. He was going to be like one of the only people left, and he was going to hit a button that opened a portal to a zombie apocalypse world, and it brought back all the other animals that had died in the previous film and that film, and he would have to fight them, and then he would have a giant fight against Robert as a zombie.
And like then maybe to really end that all off, like you close the portal, saving the world or something, you know.
All right, so now we're going to talk about our future film plans, and our future movies and how we want them to turn out like and what we expect them to be like.
Yeah, so one of the ideas that we had was a horror film called Formitophobia, and Formitophobia is the fear of scarecrows. So we wanted to have our horror character be like a scarecrow, and one of our ideas was to have it be like there was a murder around Christmas time, and so then months go by, nothing happens again, and then there's like someone's trying to like be that killer, and so there's like two killers, the main actual killer and like a phony. So we would follow our main character, and there'd be two killers after him. So that was our first original idea.
Then our next idea, which kind of sprung up, I had just kind of an idea of a road trip for senior year, which we were just going to get some GoPros and have a bunch of friends and go around and just kind of record the whole thing. Then that became an idea where we were going to go on a road trip and basically have a storyline with it, along with, enjoying the road trip in general. But we're just going to have a little story and a little movie to go along with it. Like a mafia boss trying to kill us or something, There's a lot of ideas that went into it, but we're still not completely sure just yet what we want to do. But
we kind of want it to be like a Hangover type film, but we've kind of, me and Nick, I don't know about Jax, but we've leaned towards the idea of just having a road trip with friends instead of a mafia boss or a villain, and it's just us traveling across the U.S. in different states and just having fun and relaxing, and with a couple like little comedy skits in between and stuff, like just like a montage of our life, pretty much.
And yeah, that was basically the idea with that. And going back to Formitophobia, there was a lot going into that. We were gonna do a bunch of different houses. We were gonna have the one main thing with Formitophobia. It doesn't require quite as many actors, quite as Murmuration or Revenge did, because I just don't think we need that many people for a horror film.
We just need like 4 at most.
Like a main kind of cast, and the killers, of course.
And then some like backup characters, like some just few like
kill off kind of characters.
Kill off characters, yeah.
Kind of build tension within the story.
So this is gonna wrap up this episode of the podcast. As we progress further through the film, we will update you guys. And yeah, we'll see you soon.